Do you remember Grandma's Afghan, the one with all these beautiful little squares? Even you can make one. My name is Aurele de la Brosse, and I'd like to teach you how to do the granny squares. You'll learn how to do a chain and a double crochet. Make these beautiful squares and then assemble them into an Afghan. So let's get on with it. Let's learn to do a granny square. Now we would like to do a granny square. A granny square is just a plain square in crocheting. What we're going to start first is the crochet hook and which hook to use with what yarn to use. If you use a fine hook, use a fine yarn, you'll have a small granny square. But if you use medium-sized yarn and a medium-sized hook, you'll have an average-sized granny square. And if you use a real thick yarn, you'll have a bigger square. So here I have just a good sized square. And usually we'll use a 5 metric crochet hook and a chunky yarn to do this square. If I'm going to use a thicker yarn, and I don't know if you can see, but this is the center of my square. This is a granny square, but this is a huge granny square, just one big square to make an Afghan. I've started here and I've worked in a square and I just kept on going. It's huge. And it'll fit a beautiful sized couch so you can wrap yourself in this Afghan when you're watching TV on a cold night. But if you're just using just a plain square to make an Afghan, and here I have a coaster, little granny square, and you finish it in a different color or different pattern, or even if you're using multicolors. Usually a granny square, you're using all your leftover yarns to do a granny square. If you've been knitting for years and you've got all this leftover yarn, then a half a ball of this color and a ball of that color, what you're doing, like you've noticed in this Afghan, it's multicolored. So if I'm going to select a yarn and select the right size of the hook, then we can start a nice little square. And when you start, always start using the yarn always from the inside of the ball, not the outside, because the yarn has been twisted and we don't want to untwist our yarn. So let's start with the slip knot. You crochet around, put the yarn around your thumb, and you do a slip knot. This is your first step. We've done this in the other videos. Now, it's the wool around your small finger, over the index. You hold your yarn with your middle finger and your thumb. Grab your yarn with your crochet hook and pull it through. This is our first chain. And we do 4 of those, 2, 3, and 4. Now we're going to make a circle. So we insert our crochet hook in the first, in the slip knot or the first chain. My slip knot was a little tight, but it should go through here. And we're going to pick up our yarn, crochet hook, pull it through, and through our last chain, and we've got a small circle. Now we're going to chain 2, and this is your first double crochet of a series of 4. What I'm doing is I'm doing the first row on the granny square. You have 3 double in each side. So now I have 1 double. Now I'm going to do a second one. It's the wool around the hook, go through the square, pick up your yarn, pull it through, and we're going to go through 2 loops and through 2 loops, which is a double crochet. We're going to do another one. This wool around the hook, go through, pull it through, go through, and pull through. Now we've got the first corner, as you see on the pattern. Now we got to go around the corner, and we're going to do a chain 2 and do the other side. Chain 2, and now into the square we're going to insert our hook, pull the yarn through, and do a double. Another one, and our third double crochet. Pull through and through. Now this is, we're going to do our third corner. Here we've done the first, we've done the second, we're going to do a third, and around the corner again we're going to chain 2. Do 3 more double crochet. First one, second one, and I'll have to do a third one, but what I'm doing, this is the end of my yarn, and I'm holding it and I'm crocheting it with the chain. And I'll explain after what I do at the end. This is my third corner, and the chain 2, and now the fourth corner. This is my first double crochet, my second double crochet, and my third. Pick up the yarn and around. Now I finished my first row with a double crochet. Now it's to hook it into my first double crochet, which was a chain 2. So I've hooked it in. So this is my first, my last corner of my chain. So now I have to do 2 sets of 3 double crochet in each corner. This is what you're doing. You're always doing it in a corner. You're always a double crochet in a chain 2. So what I have to do is chain 2, which is my first double. Now, if you turn your work around, this is your first chain. Now we're going to go around the opposite way. So our first double crochet is done. We're going to do a second one in the corner. Now, my third double crochet in my second row. Then you do a chain 2 and do another series of 3 double crochet in the corner. My second one, my third one. Now, you skip this. You go to the opposite corner and you do a series of 2. And in between, you got a chain 2. Now, in the other corner, we'll do a double series of 3 double crochet. Now this, you might slip, and you pull it out and you bring it back. So my first double crochet, and here's my second one. Now I need more yarn from inside the ball. You start with, pull around the small finger over the index, and you hold your work with your middle finger and your thumb. Now I've got 2 double crochet, I'm going to do a third one. Okay, now what I have to do is a chain 2 and another series of 3 double crochet. Now we chain 2 again and do another set in the other corner. And my last, and need more yarn. Need a chain 2 in between the 2 series, and in this is first corner, second corner, I'm in my third corner. I still have to do another series of 3 double crochet. Then I do a chain 2. I work in my last corner. Yeah. And my third. You need lots of yarn. I've done one of my series, now chain 2. You do 3 double crochet, chain 2, 3 double crochet, chain 2. That's the granny square pattern. And my last one, or is that second? No, one more. Now we do a chain 2. Now we're going to again do a slip into my first double crochet, pull the yarn through, and slip. I've done my second row. I've done the purple row, I've done the blue. Now I'm going to start in the pink. You do a chain 2. You turn your work around. That's the principle of a granny square. You do one row, you hook it in, then you turn your work around to start opposite, because you can't go back. You have to make a series in the hole. So this is your first double crochet. Now I got to do another double. Once you've got used to how to make a double crochet, you'll be doing pretty quick. It goes fast. Chain 2, and now I want to explain how to use the crochet hook. Crochet hook has that hook on the upper end. So what you do is you rotate the hook with your fingers. When you hook the yarn by rotating the hook and pulling it through. So I turn the hook, I hook my yarn, I'm going through the yarn, pick up the yarn with my hook, and you see I automatically turn the hook to pick up the yarn again. And the head of the crochet hook has to be down to go through. If it was up, it would pick up the yarn. So you go down, it'll go easy, you turn, hook the yarn, turn it again, and pull it through. See how easy it is then you don't hook your yarn all over the place. I have to do now another crochet, a double. So turn the yarn, turn your hook around, see, easy, turn it, easy. Now this is my third corner, my third row. I'm in the pink row now. A chain 2, you do 3 double crochet, chain 2. Then now I'm working inside the square. On the third row, you're working inside. And every row now, at every space, I will do 3 double crochet. And then you'll keep on going. Depends what size you want to do. If you want to stop there, 3 rows, or if you want to do 4 rows or 5 rows, change color at every row. That's the pattern you're doing. It's like I did just the green and an outline in the yellow to make little pot holders. Or in the large Afghan, I started with the center here, and then I just kept going. So in our pattern, what we have, I'm doing my third row now. Okay, I'll do 3 more double crochet in my center. It's my first double, my second, and my third. And now I'm going to the corner again. Chain 2 and into the corner. And another double. chain 2. I've had 3 double, chain 2. Now my second series in the corner. Now I've done my last double crochet in my last square. Now I'm going to do my last corner. Now chain 2, you do 3 double crochet, chain 2. That's part of the granny square. Once you've done about 100 or 200 granny square, you'll know it's double crochet, chain 2, double crochet, chain 2. This is a granny square. When you hear somebody joking about granny square and they'll say 3 double crochet, chain 2, you'll know what you're talking about. I've done that. 3 double crochet, chain 2. Now my last series in the corner. Then I'll join. And now what we'll do is we'll break the yarn and we'll do an edging to this cute little granny square. My last treble, my last double crochet that is, and now I'm going to hook it in, pull the yarn through. Okay, now what I'm going to do is break the yarn, give me at least 6 inches of yarn, and pull it through. Okay, now it's hooked in. So what I do, you find your blunt needles, if you know what they are, they're needles, and they're very blunt. And they're thick needle, it's for yarn. To thread a needle, you squeeze it through your finger, push the yarn through, pull. And you sew that together. Slip the yarn through, there, and we'll cut it off. This is your first granny square. What I did at the first, remember, I did the little circle and I held the yarn and I used it together with the circle. So now we're going to thread that through. You got to make that disappear. You can't have all these little ends. So what you do is just follow the circle and sew it through. Halfway, then skip a stitch. I don't know if you can see it, but it's there. Jump a stitch, pull it through. That's tight enough. And we cut that off. And we have our first granny square. Now let's do an edging. Like I had the green pattern with a yellow edging. So we have a red pattern and we're going to use the yellow wool. You can start anywhere, but you have to start in one of the corners. So hook the yarn and hold the 2 pieces together, hook both and pull it through. There's many ways to add that color. I could have sewn it through or hook it through, but let's do that again. Okay, just the yarn. Now put your crochet hook and I'll hook the yarn, pull it through, and the 2 pieces of yarn together, what I do is pull it through. Okay? Now, let's say that you've had the first video on how to crochet. I've showed you how to do a single crochet, a double crochet, and a treble. So if we use all 3, we could do a scallop edging. Okay? So I've done the first. I'll count my first hook as a double crochet. I'll do a double crochet. Okay, this is my double. Pick up my stitch. Now I'll do a treble, which is all around twice, in, and you go through 3 times. Okay, I need more yarn. Let's do a double crochet and a single, which is just a wool around, pull through. Then let's go, just do a single in the middle, jump to the second hole, which I'll do another one, another single, and do a double, which is pull around the hook, pull through, and another hook. Do a treble, which is pull around twice. See, one more, and let's do a double crochet. Pull around the hook once, twice, and a single. I'm still working in the same place, in the same hole. Now, let's go in the second double crochet. Just hook, and I need more yarn. And in the corner, you'll have a single crochet, just hook, a double, and a treble. So now we've done a treble, let's do another double crochet. Pull around the hook, pull through, and a single crochet. Now, and we go to the second double crochet, we pick up our yellow yarn, and we do a single crochet. We'll go into the space and do a single. We start with a single crochet. Let me show you that again. Go to the square and put the crochet hook, pick up the yarn, pull it through, and that's your single crochet. A double crochet is a wool around the hook, pull it through, pick up the yarn, pull it through. Now you have 3 loops, so you pick your yarn, go through 2 loops, pick up the yarn, and go through your 2 loops, which is a double crochet. I'll lose my yarn. Okay, that was a double. Now let's do a treble, which is wool around the hook twice, pick up your yarn. Now you've got 3 loops, so you'll go wool around the hook, pull it through 2 loops, wool around the hook, and you got 2 loops, pull around the hooks, and through 2 loops, which is a treble. We'll do another double, wool around the hook once, pick up your yarn, wool around the hook, through 2 loops, wool around the hooks, 2 loops. A single crochet is just pick up the yarn and around 2 loops. So that is, I'm starting my little border. Now if I keep going around, I'll join the yarn and we'll have our first granny square. Now I've done all the way around with my yellow color and I've finished my last square. What I've done is, I don't know if you look at the pattern, what I wanted to show you was in each square I did a single crochet, a double, and a treble, another double, and a single. It made a really bumpy, it's more like I think a camel. In this little square, all I did was a single, 2 double, and a single. So you can judge if you want a high bump or a low bump. You're selecting your own pattern. You're making your own pattern by choosing either a single crochet, double crochet, or treble. There's only 3 crochet patterns, so you design your own. So now that was my last one. Now I'm going to do my last single in, and into my first, I'm going to hook and pull the yarn through, and I finished the square. So now I'm going to cut my yarn, pull it through. Now to finish, all I have to do is thread my needle and close in the loops. And I'm doing a back stitch, so I'm just sewing it together. Got it? And you've finished your first granny square. Now if you make a whole series of these, all you have to do is join them together with a single stitch or even a single crochet. This one here, it's all joined with a double crochet between the 2 squares. It's up to you to make your own, design your own, and make a nice, beautiful granny square, either an Afghan in many little squares or one huge Afghan in one big square. You can decorate some clothes, you can make a sweater, you can design all kinds of beautiful stuff using just a plain granny square. Now that I've showed you how to do the granny square, and I've made this one, and with the yellow border, don't throw away all your bits and pieces of yarn because you can do one of these. These is beautiful in many colors, and especially if you use the different types of yarn and size of yarn, or make one big huge one in one color. It would be really, really nice. So, my name is Aurele de la Brosse, and keep your hands busy. I have often said, yes, you can learn new skills from a book. However, with the Learn To series, you now have a practical, hands-on video that you can rewind, pause, and watch over and over again. Our family of programs is always growing, and I hope you'll join me in learning to knit, crochet, needlepoint, and many more crafts. Each video gives you a step-by-step instruction on how to create beautiful handmade treasures. Till next time, take care and keep your hands busy.